And I have a few slides that I'd like to share with you to kind of go over some of the highlights, and then we'll definitely spend a good amount of time doing actual product demonstration. First and foremost, just a quick introduction about Blue Dot. If you're not already familiar with us, we're actually, a long-time player in the enterprise mobility space. We have over 25 years of not only, experience, but literally, we were founded in 1988, so we've really been here all that time. That's not some kind of, cumulative years of experience with all of our employees or something crazy like that. We have over 1,100 unique customers in more than 18 countries, and over 100,000 licensees, actual, individual users of our products. We really have a focus on field, fleet, factory, and facility users. So these are the people who are out in the field actually capturing data, interacting with that data. They're working with their hands. They're performing services or maintenance, capturing information such as inspections or condition assessments. So we really, really focus and specialize in working with those kinds of people. It's important because they are not always the most technical people in an organization. They also have a very low tolerance for any kind of, silliness or, that feeling that this isn't a useful tool to them. So they're one of the harder groups to get to really adopt technology, and we've had a tremendous amount of experience in understanding what works for them, what doesn't, how to have a successful enterprise mobile deployment, and how to ensure the adoption is strong. And then finally, we are a provider of packaged mobile applications and platforms to, as Ty mentioned, several industry-leading ISVs, other software companies, primarily in the ERP or CMMS space, as well as in the transportation and logistics space. So we often will be engaged and build software for other software companies that will then extend their core systems out to the mobile workforce. We also do work direct with customers from time to time, especially those that have some very unique custom requirements and can't find a product available, off the shelf. So what is Cyan Simplicity? In a nutshell, it is a service offering by Blue Dot that is backed up by some best-of-breed mobile device management software. So it's really about being able to support your remote device communities, all those different, mobile devices running different platforms, maybe running, very different types of applications. I think at this point, mobility is very much mainstream, and people understand the value that it can bring to a company. But there's a lot of challenges out there. Right now, bring your own devices, one of those big challenges. Companies see tremendous opportunity in saving money by letting employees use their own personal devices. Quite frankly, in many cases, those devices are the latest and greatest state-of-the-art devices and are more powerful and have more memory capacity and, more features than anything the company could provide, to their employees. At the same time, there's a lot of risk with that. And so Cyan Simplicity is really designed to help companies be able to take advantage of BYOD or bring your own device and be able to implement the appropriate, acceptable use policies to ensure that, corporate data is secure, that in the event that a device is lost or stolen, that data can be removed, the ability to find devices that are lost or stolen, all those kinds of features. Obviously, there's, scalability is an important element of these kinds of solutions. We have customers who have, 2 or 3 devices, just a very, very small deployment, and we have many of those customers. And we have customers who have thousands of devices deployed. And so Cyan Simplicity is designed from the outset to be, very scalable, to provide us with the ability to support, large and small customers, and to provide you a great deal of flexibility as a user of Cyan Simplicity to manage your own mobile communities. There are several other features that are available, such as, being able to ensure user compliance, being able to see where your devices are and track them if necessary, the ability to provide remote updates, and I think a really important one here is the ability to improve the support experience. Mobile applications can only be as successful as you are in supporting your mobile users. So when they have questions or concerns, they need to be able to reach out to somebody who can really answer and address those. And especially in the case of the personal devices, that can be very, very difficult to do. It's unlikely that you're going to have someone who's an expert in every single mobile device and every single mobile platform that's out there. So Cyan Simplicity offers some very powerful tools such as remote viewing and remote control that would allow a central support administrator the ability to see what the user is seeing. And that really helps a lot in terms of being able to understand what's going on, because a simple phone call is often terribly inadequate in order to bring that context and understanding in what the user is experiencing. I cannot tell you how often we find that when we ask a user if they're clicking on a certain button and they're saying yes, they're in fact not clicking on that button and may not even be in that application. So it really helps to be able to see what the user's seeing and to be able to guide them through a process if necessary. So what are the big business benefits of a service offering like Cyan Simplicity? Number one, it really provides you with the management and support that you have to have in order to ensure that your mobile workers are successful in using an enterprise mobile application. So again, that support cannot be emphasized enough. The ability to truly provide useful support and administration to your mobile workforce is critical in the success of your mobile strategies. Again, that ability to take advantage of the BYOD phenomenon and without losing control of your corporate data and adherence to your security policies. This is a challenging thing, and I think it's important to note that not all mobile platforms are equal. So we evaluated many, many different tools before selecting the application, the system that we have selected as the backbone of Cyan Simplicity. It has some great capabilities in all major mobile operating systems, but there are differences between iOS and Android and Windows and Windows Mobile and things that are yet to come. So we'll go over some of that. I think it's also really interesting to note that the pricing for Cyan Simplicity is built right into your subscription for Cyan mobile applications. So if you are a customer of Blue Dot's and you purchase any of the Cyan apps that Blue Dot provides, Cyan Simplicity is a fundamental part of that solution. And that's an awesome thing, because for many companies, this is something that they have to consider above and beyond their investment in mobile devices and or mobile applications. For some people, it's not a problem, and quite frankly, you need this, right? Everyone really should have these capabilities. But in many cases, there's budget to pay for the applications themselves, and then there's not budget to pay for a tool like this in order to provide appropriate support and management and maintenance. So having that built in, a terrific advantage. However, if you are not a customer of any Cyan mobile platform applications, but you see the benefit of Cyan Simplicity, or you have a much larger mobile device community and only some of those are running Cyan mobile platform apps, you can take advantage of Cyan Simplicity and use it to manage all those other devices. There is an additional subscription fee that is available for those types of devices, but the platform is capable of being your all-in-one administration and support for all of your mobile devices. From a technology perspective, again, it's really important to note that the technology that we've selected has support for all of the major mobile platforms today. And of course, there are new or emerging platforms right now. Windows 8, quite frankly, is very new, and we're watching the adoption of that. Windows Phone has been around for a little while, but has a relatively small market size at the moment, but it is growing. BlackBerry is supported, and BlackBerry 10 is brand new, and there is support pending for that. As I mentioned before, iOS and Android are both supported. Older Windows and Windows Mobile platforms are supported. And of course, there are brand new ones like Cyan and the new mobile platform that Amazon is working on that we expect to ultimately be supported if those market shares reach any kind of critical mass whatsoever. The solution is cloud-hosted and web-based, so it gives you the opportunity to access all of these features from wherever you may be. You will have your specific credentials for accessing Cyan Simplicity, and you can use your own desktop or workstation. You could use a laptop. You could use a device that is out in the public domain if you needed to do so. One of the great things there is as new capabilities or enhancements become available, they will immediately be available to you. You don't have to install more software. You don't have to procure a server and babysit it for the rest of its life. All of that is taken care of for you. And then finally, it's very, very flexible. So, you have access, and Blue Dot will provide you access to all of the features and capabilities of Cyan Simplicity if that's what you choose to have. It is a very comprehensive product, and with that comprehensive nature comes a certain amount of complexity. There's a lot of training that's available. Blue Dot can provide that training. You can also get training from the core technology vendor. At the same time, we do have the ability to help tailor the access to those features and functionality so that it makes sense for you, so that you don't have to go through quite as much training. If you have no intention of ultimately setting up certain rules and configurations and things of that nature, Blue Dot can do that for you. You can take advantage of those capabilities, but if you're really looking to focus on more like help desk support and you want the ability to remote view or remote control devices, pull log files off of devices, send messages out to users of those devices, and that's all you need to do, that capability is available as well. We can dial it in so that you only see those features that you want to interact with, and you don't have to concern yourself with all of the rest of the capabilities. I've already talked about some of the supported platforms, just a quick overview of that. Of course, all of the traditional mainstay Windows platforms are supported. Windows Mobile, Windows CE, Windows Desktop. We have a lot of customers who have advanced mobile or Cyan deployments on Windows-powered devices. Particularly Windows Mobile was the primary target for us for many, many years. And so if you've made investments in those technologies and you wish to continue to gain your return on those investments, Cyan Simplicity absolutely can support all of those devices, and in fact has probably the richest support for those devices because those platforms have been around the longest. Windows Phone and Windows 8 are also supported. Windows 8, there's some new support being developed now for the RT version, which is the inexpensive, the less expensive operating system for inexpensive ARM-based devices. If you know what I'm talking about, great, and if you don't worry about it. Obviously, there's Apple iOS support. I do want to point out that there's some very good and powerful capabilities there, but because Apple sort of adheres to the walled garden approach to their mobile platform and their devices, there are some constraints. For instance, you can do remote viewing of iOS devices as long as the appropriate agent is running on the device, but you cannot do remote control, and you cannot remote view a device unless the user is actively interacting with you, right? They're have turned on that agent, and they basically want you to be able to see what they're doing. On the Android side, it's kind of a mixed bag. Most of the major Android device manufacturers are using something called Android Plus. Android Plus provides full device management capabilities to Android-based devices. Not all hardware vendors, though, are using that. And a primary example are the Nexus devices. These are manufactured by a variety of different device manufacturers, but they're made specifically for Google, and they're purchased through Google. And they have the bare bones Android operating system installed on them. So they do not include Android Plus. Therefore, they don't support all of the features that are available if Android Plus is available. If you have any questions about specific devices or specific OS versions, feel free to reach out to Blue Dot, and we can answer those questions for you. So that's really it from a slide deck perspective, and now let's go right into a demonstration and take a look at some of the different capabilities of the platform itself. So this is, once I log in, this is my primary view, and we see over on the left here, our device groups. Those groups are, meaningful to me, right? I can create as many groups and as many hierarchies as I'd like. If I want to be able to, drill down and see lots of different things, I can do that, and I can, create new groups within existing groups, and I can inherit settings from one group to another, or I can make that group have its own settings. So a lot of really important capabilities within there. Very nice to be able to create that hierarchy as I see fit. We've seen people, basically create groups based on roles, where you might have salespeople, you might have technicians, you might have executives, or other people. We've also seen people create groups around geographies. Maybe you've got, your East Coast and, Mountain Zone and West Coast and things of that nature. In the middle here, we see the list of devices. Up at the top, there's some tabs that allow me to drill into very specific device, platforms, mobile platforms. So this is the collection of all the devices. We see an iPad here, several Android devices. This is a Windows mobile device. Lots of devices can be shown, and then I can come in, and if I select the Android Plus tab here, I will see just those devices that support Android Plus, and I have the ability to interact, with those devices. Over on the rightmost side, we see lots of other information. So I can select a device here, and I can drill in, and I can see lots of, metrics and attributes associated to that specific device. So here I have the opportunity to see the actual battery status, the memory status for all the different memory that's available. I can see, the MAC address of the phone. Again, a lot of very important detail information that I can use, in terms of my device management. Might be very important if I, want my devices to participate in my local Wi-Fi network, but I do want to restrict access to specific MAC addresses. This really helps to, enable all of that. So lots of great information that we can see here. I can get in and look at log files as well, so I can see, logs that pertain to how the Cyan Simplicity platform and the agent on the device are interacting. I have the ability to review any, application update schedules or updates to those device attributes and metrics. I can review, installed applications and so on and so forth. So a lot of great capabilities that I have there. I think one of the more interesting things, of course, is always to, go in and actually see what's going on with the device. So in this particular case, I have, remote control. Again, for Android Plus, any of the Windows operating systems, I can actually control the device from here. Likewise, I can watch what the user's doing. So this is a Samsung Galaxy 3 that I have on my desk. I can go ahead and, move around within that device and within those applications, and I can see what's going on, on screen. Likewise, I have the ability to actually, click and control things from this viewer. So I can select a, particular item and go ahead and initiate that. Now I can review the device configuration that's coming to me, through the Cyan Simplicity platform. I can scroll, I can do all the different things that I would expect to be able to do directly on the device. Note up here, there's a little menu bar, and we see that there's a notification with 5 items in it. So I can come over here, and now I can see some of the different things that are going on and that are available in the agent that runs on the device. That agent runs in the background, so it does not interfere with what the user is doing, although there is this interface that they have access to, so they can come in at any time and review information. So here I see an application catalog. This is one of the many features, right? We understand that with these consumer mobile platforms, they have their app stores. And app stores are wonderful. It's a very easy way for the user of that device to be able to reach out and get the applications that they're interested in. If you wish to control access to the app stores, you can do so through Cyan Simplicity. And basically, you can set up configurations that allow or disallow certain applications that provide access to Google Play or other Android app stores, or deny access to those app stores. Here you can see where a number of applications have actually been sort of pre-configured for access to our mobile users. And so they have the ability to see these at any point. We can go ahead and install directly from here. We can also create an in-house app store. And the thing that's nice about the in-house app stores is that these applications aren't necessarily deployed out to the public app stores. So again, these can be very private applications that are built specifically for your organization that you don't wish to provide access, to anyone else, right? You don't need to publish it to Google Play. You simply want to make that available to your employees, and so you can use the in-house app store to do that. Another feature are things like the content library. The content library allows me to basically publish documents that the users have access to. I can force those documents to actually be pushed out to the devices so that they're always available, whether the user's online or not. I can also specify those documents to be on demand. So now I'm going ahead and downloading that on demand. I've got my little PDF viewer here that's going to go ahead and open that, and now I have the ability to review that document and interact with it as I see fit. One additional feature, there are several here. Of course, I give the user the ability to see contact information that's specific to my organization. This is the default contact information for Blue Dot, for the whole Cyan Simplicity platform. But if you'd like to replace this with, contact information for your help desk, very easy configuration, very easy thing to do. The message center is also interesting. Gives us the ability to send messages out to the device. I can do that, and I'm going to basically go back here just for a second. I can right-click from the Cyan Simplicity console. I can come down here to send. I can indicate that I want to send a message. It can be an informative message. It can be a question, a warning, whatever's appropriate. In this case, maybe I want to say, please call your office ASAP. And I can indicate if I want that to be displayed for a specific amount of time or until the user actually acknowledges it. I have several different ways that I can send that message out. I'll go ahead and use Mobi Control to do that, because that would work whether the device is online or offline. It would queue it up if it's offline and wait until it connected to the network again. Go ahead and hit OK, and then very quickly come back and go to my remote control console, and there you see that message arriving. And again, that message will stay there until the user acknowledges it in that particular case. And then in the message center, we see that message had been received. So there's a history until the user elects to remove those messages. So lots of really nice features there. Back here on the console, there are a lot of different things that we can do. The remote control is one. The ability to enable or disable devices is another. Down under actions here, we can see many things that we can do, including a full device wipe. Now, you can see the the little icon for that is that internationally recognized nuclear material warning. That is to be used in only for extreme cases, and that will literally wipe out all of the data on the device. There are additional ways to wipe out very specific data, like corporate data, so lots of different features here. One of the things I want to show is simply this device configuration. So I can jump into the device configuration, and I can do this at a device level or at a group level, and it allows me to do things like turn on antivirus protection. I can do that from a corporate standpoint to ensure that my security policies are being enforced, whether the user would have installed and activated antivirus software or not. I can force that to be the case. I can require authentication on that device. I can install certificates. So if I generate my own certificates for secure access to my internal networks, I can do that through here. Notice that we have some restrictions that are possible. I can control which applications are allowed to run, and I can deny certain applications as necessary. I can control access to certain features of the mobile device as appropriate. I can even perform lockdowns. So I have the ability here, I'm going to override the parent settings, I'm going to enable device lockdown, and now I have the ability to specify which applications I wish to allow my user to interact with, and this will basically create sort of a kiosk mode on that device, and it will hide everything else so that that user only has the ability to use that device for the applications that I've specified, and doesn't have access to settings or other things that I wish to shield them from. So not a good idea for BYOD, probably would really upset the person who owns that device, but absolutely an acceptable configuration for company-provided devices, especially those that are shared among many users. You might want to make sure that they're not accessing the web browser or being able to download other applications onto the device. We also provide the ability to view the location of specific devices. So I can come over here to location services. I can say I want to locate that device. That will provide the current location for any particular device that we have in there. I can go ahead and expand this a little bit. I also have the opportunity to review the history of where that particular device has been. So I can see that, and for each of the different points on that map, I can see exactly when that point was captured. I have the ability to configure the rules that specify how often those updates come in. I can do that by the minute. I can do it by the hour. So a lot of flexibility in there, and certainly some interesting capabilities here. If I go and say that I want to locate all of the devices that I have in that particular group, I can do that as well and see where those devices are. And once again, for any of those devices that I select, if there is a history available, I can go ahead and say, view that history, and I can indicate the time frame that I want to view. Maybe I'll back up another day here, indicate the color that I want the location tracking to show, and there we go. Now I can zoom out a little bit, and I can see where this device has been. One of the fundamental uses of mobile device management software like this is the ability to define packages. So basically, packages are patches or application installs. There's many different rules that can be set up for those, and they can be created for very specific device platforms. Here you see something that's designed for a Windows mobile device. Here you see a package that's for a Windows tablet. Here are some Android packages that we see. So you can create these device packages. You can control which versions are being deployed to specific devices. and you can see, the status of those deployments, so you know that specific packages have been deployed to certain devices but have not been retrieved and deployed to other devices, and act accordingly. There's also, the content library that I mentioned before. So this gives me the ability to simply, add content as appropriate. So I can, upload new files into a particular folder, and I can again see where, which devices have actually received that content, which devices have not. So a good capability, good monitoring, and I can also create alerts within the Cyan Simplicity platform that allow me to understand at the end of the day, those devices that haven't received an update or received, content in this fashion, and I can act upon those alerts if I choose to do so. One final thing that I think is, really interesting is when we're talking about rules, we do have the ability to even control or create rules regarding telecom expenses. So this is my, business use only rule. And in this particular case, I can, pick the devices or device groups that I want to apply this rule to. And you can see I can now start to monitor and create alerts around the voice and data usage on this particular device. So if I have a specified data plan, let's say that I purchased a less expensive 1 gigabyte plan per month on those devices, and I know that if I exceed that data plan, I'm going to be hit with additional charges. I can set alerts in here and make sure that not only I get notified if I get within a certain range of that, but I can also set hard thresholds and basically disallow any additional data usage. So if I get right up to the wire there, I can ensure that that device is going to turn off the ability to use the data connection, at least the one associated to the data plan. Perhaps I can still use a Wi-Fi connection, but no longer the cellular data connection, and ensure that I'm not going to be hit with those additional fees. So again, a lot of really great capabilities built into the platform. At this point, we'll go ahead and take any questions that anyone may have. If you have questions, feel free to type those right into the GoToWebinar screen, and we will try to answer them to the best of our ability. And if we have any questions that I'm not able to answer at this time, we will definitely have somebody from our support team reach out to you and make sure that you have accurate and complete answers to those questions. So Ty, I'll pass it back to you for the Q&A.
Great. Thank you, Randy. It appears that there are no questions at this time. I'm going to give it a few more seconds, and while I do so, I wanted to let you know how you can stay in touch with Blue Dot. If you'd like to stay in touch with us, you can always visit our website at bluedotsolutions.com. If you're up on social media, we encourage you to follow us on Twitter. It's at bluedotsolution. We also have a YouTube channel where we're releasing videos relatively often. You can subscribe to us there at youtube.com/bluedotsolutions. And then just a few additional email addresses if you'd like to reach out with any support questions or any questions from our sales team. Yeah, we've listed those on your screen there. Just wait a second longer. And it doesn't appear that there are any questions. We'll send out an email, and feel free to reply to it. We'll also ask that your regional reps reach out to you as well to see if you have any further questions. As we conclude, I'd like to thank you for your attendance. Please stay tuned. We do these events fairly often. You'll see those on our events page at bluedotsolutions.com/events. We also tweet about them as well. Yeah, we hope it's been helpful. We certainly hope that you're as excited about Cyan Simplicity as we are. We see great potential here to speed up your implementations, to improve the experience of your users in the field, to better manage the devices that you all are spending money to procure and provision and manage. And so hopefully you've benefited from today's session, and again, we encourage you to attend future sessions. Thanks again, Randy. Have a great day, everyone.